Hi, and welcome. You're listening to the X22 Report. My name is Dave, and this is episode 1909A, and today's date is July 5th, 2019, and the title of the episode is Boom, Right on Schedule, the Finger Pointing Continues. Now, before I get started, I wanted to show you this chart from Noble Gold. This is the S&P 500 going way back to 1996. And as you can see, since 2009, the stock market has been on a roll. But all rolls come to an end. So if you're relying on your IRA or 401k to see you through retirement, you may have a problem. You might want to speak to them about finding a place of safety for your money too. Call 877-646-5347 and get protected with gold or silver IRA today. Or get the free gold and silver guide below that will answer all of your questions. Just click the link below. Let's get into the economic collapse financial news. Well, Trump did it again. He is right on schedule. And he's continually pointing the finger at the central bank. This is all being done on purpose. This is not a coincidence. There's a plan behind all of this. And he has to continually point the finger at the Fed, show the Fed that they don't know what they're doing. So the rest of the people around the country wake up to what the central bank really is. And this is exactly what he is doing. He is building the narrative, just like they're building the narrative with the swamp. It's the same exact process. Now, at the same time, Trump needs to continue on with this central bank economy. He cannot let it implode, because if it does implode, guess what? He's not getting reelected. He won't be able to take down the central bank system. He will not be able to transition the people into a new economy, an economy that does not have the central bank as the focal point. And Trump is doing everything that he possibly can to make this economy, the central bank economy, look fantastic. And remember, he has the magic wand. He has the ability to do everything the deep state, the central bank, the mainstream media has been doing in the past. And there's nothing they can do about this. Trump tweets out that the economy is roaring. Jobs are setting all-time records. Now, we know these are only statistical numbers. But again, he's using these statistical numbers against the deep state, the mainstream media, and the central bank. He tweeted out the following: record 157 million jobs employed, 19th record of Trump era. Now, think about this for a second. 157 million people were employed in June, the most since February, and the 19th record of Trump's presidency. Now, this is coming from BLS. And the economy added a strong 224,000 jobs in June, well above the estimate of 160,000. The unemployment rate dropped to 3.7%. This is the lowest in 50 years. How in the world is the mainstream media, the Dems, the deep state, the central bank, how are they going to fight against what he is doing right now? I mean, they're going to try. They're going to try to spin this in some way, but it's going to fail. Now, in June, the nation's civilian non-institutionalized population, consisting of all people ages 16 or older who were not in the military or an institution, reached 259 million. Of those, 162.9 million participated in the labor force by either holding a job or actively seeking one. The 162.9 million who participated in the labor force equaled 62.9% of the 259 million civilian non-institutional population. That's up a tenth of a point from May's 62.8%. Now, the participation rate reached a record high of 67.3% in early 2000. The highest it's been under Trump is 63.2%. Now, remember, he's taking what the central bank, the deep state, the mainstream media created. They created an economy where they were telling us that this is the best we will ever see, so get used to it. And the reason why they were doing this is because they were trying to bring down the United States to the level of a third world country. And remember, there's a lot of people that are still looking for work. But with the statistical numbers, Trump has the ability to make it look like, just like the mainstream media, the deep state, and the rest have done many, many times before in the past, make the economy, the unemployment numbers, look fantastic. And this is exactly what he is doing. Now, Trump hailed the strong employment report on his way out of town today. And he said the following: "We had great numbers this morning, I think 224,000 jobs. Those were really unexpectedly good, and our country continues to do really well. So we're very happy about it. I think we're going to be breaking records. And I do believe that he will be breaking a lot of records. Because why? He has the magic wand." Now, Kamala Harris and many other Dems who are running for president, they tried to hit against the economy. And it's continually backfiring. Actually, Kamala Harris was out there and she claimed that people are forced to work multiple jobs. Yes, they are. And remember, we talked about this many times before. This is nothing new. But when Obama was president, they never really liked to mention this. If you notice, now they're coming up with everything that we said when Obama was president, because they understand they can't attack the statistical numbers. So they have to go about it in a way that we were going about it. I'm talking about the alternative media that was looking at the economic numbers and saying, well, wait a minute. Look, people have one or two jobs. This is manipulated because they're counting one or two jobs as full-time jobs. She didn't go to that point where she said, look, they're counting these jobs as full-time jobs, because then it would open up a can of worms. And she's trying to make the point that the economy is not as great as Trump is making it seem. But again, the problem is that for many years, the mainstream media, the central bank, the deep state, they've been brainwashing the American public. How are they doing this? Well, with their reporting and not reporting the truth. Now it's starting to backfire on them because Trump can use this against them. Look at the stock market. The stock market's doing fantastically. Look at the unemployment numbers. Ooh, they're very low. The economy must be doing well. Look at the GDP numbers. They're very high. The economy must be doing very well. Everything else, people don't understand what that is. And Trump knows this, and it's working to his advantage. And the mainstream media, the Dems, the deep state, the central bank, they're struggling to find a way to control the narrative, but it's not going to work. Remember, Trump and the Patriots, they're controlling everything that happens in this economy. Now, this is coming out of finance@yahoo.com, and we're getting word that the Fed just got the green light to cut rates. Now, this is very interesting. We know that Trump has been hitting at the Fed very hard, pointing the finger, and this is all being done on purpose. And now the mainstream media is saying, yeah, the Fed is going to cut rates. They're acknowledging it. We already knew that this was coming. Why? Because Trump has been telling the Fed, this is what you're going to do, and the Fed is doing exactly what the Patriots want. Remember, the Fed, at one point with the deep state, the mainstream media, they had a completely different plan. Remember back in 2018, Q even put out a post about it, that they were planning to raise rates. Look how much has changed, because they were raising rates when Trump came into office, and they really pushed their agenda in the year 2018. And all of a sudden, 2019 hit, and they backed off. And now they're going to be going in the opposite direction. That even goes for stimulus. They were tightening and dumping their assets from their books, and all of a sudden, they stopped. And now we're going to see rate cuts. Now we're going to see stimulus. This is part of the plan to build the system up and to continually point the finger at the Fed. Trump is right on schedule. Listen to what he said to reporters.
We had great numbers this morning. I think it was 224,000 jobs. Those were really unexpectedly good. And our country continues to do really well, really well. So we're very happy about it. I think we're going to We're going to be breaking records. If we had a Fed that would lower interest rates, it would be like a rocket ship. But we're paying a lot of interest, and it's unnecessary. But we don't have a Fed that knows what they're doing, so it's one of those little things. But if we had a Fed that would lower rates, you would have a rocket ship. When President Obama was here, he paid close to zero interest rates. I'm paying real interest. And yet our economy is much better than it's ever been. From election day, we're over 50% increase. And we've made trillions and trillions of dollars with a T, trillions. So we're doing very well. But last night was spectacular. Yeah.
Now, Trump has the Fed exactly where he wants them. Think about this for a second. If the Fed doesn't do what he wants and the economy fails, who's to blame? The Fed, because Trump made the economy fantastic. If the Fed would just lower rates and start stimulus, it would be even better. But if it fails, he can just turn around and say, listen, they didn't listen to what I was saying. I told you they didn't know what they were doing. And guess what? It failed. If the Fed goes ahead and cuts rates and pushes stimulus and the economy does well, Trump can say, I told you, look, they're doing exactly what I want. The economy's looking fantastic. Now, as we go forward and the Fed continually does what Trump wants and the economy does better and better and better, Trump will take credit. Once the Fed veers off and decides to change course and maybe tighten or raise rates or anything like that, and the economy starts to fail, Trump has them. All he has to do is say, listen, the Fed's not doing what I want. They are raising rates now. They're tightening. And I told him that this wasn't the right time. And the economy's starting to fail. He will continually point the finger. If you notice, he has set up the Fed and they have no way out of this. This is all being done on purpose. He needs to set them up. He needs the American people to understand and realize that he is in control. And if the Fed doesn't do what he wants, the economy is not going to improve. Now, does he want to make the central bank economy look fantastic? Only for a time being, only to after the 2020 elections. After that, he's going to change course. And all this setup that he was been doing prior to 2020, he's going to use it against the Fed. This is all part of the plan. And people will realize that the Fed is to blame. Think about what he's doing right now. It's a complete setup, and Trump and the Patriots, they are in total control. And as we move forward, you're going to hear the president continually point the finger at the Fed and continually say they have no idea what they're doing. If they just listen to me, they have no idea what they're doing. If they just listen to me, everything would be fantastic. Why is he doing that? Because he's setting them up. Enjoy the show. Listen, everyone, thanks a lot for listening. Be well, be safe, and especially be prepared. Thanks a lot.